Hey there. Before we start this episode, I wanted to jump into your ears straight away and let you know how you can support us best with this podcast so we can keep this going. So the most important thing that when you have listened to this episode would be share. Spread the word, drop our name, drop us in the conversation. If you see a question popping up somewhere, say, the Damn Parenting Ladies, they have an episode on this. Pop the episodes out. Get us into the conversation of the communities. This is the best way to support Eva and me. And give us a like on Spotify. Give us a follow. Jump over to Instagram, Damn Parenting Podcast. Make sure that you spread the word about what you like, why you like the episodes, and that you spread the knowledge that we are putting out there so it can be heard and received by everyone who needs to hear this. And this is what I just wanted to drop with you before now you can enjoy them chat or an expert episode. So let's see what's going to be on. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Damn Parenting, your English-speaking parenting podcast from Amsterdam. And we are your hosts, Maren and
Eva.
Today, we're talking FOMO, fear of missing out or stress of not doing enough with our children. Eva and I just had a chat about what are we doing with our children when they're not in daycare, when we have them on the days that are with us, or equally on the weekends where we plan all these big things to do with them. And it's all about the experience that we hear, like social media, in books and chats. It's like, let them live their childhood, let them experience their childhood. It's not about the material things. But then what are we bringing as experiences? Is being at home folding laundry an experience for them? Is this the Montessori way to raise your children? Or is the experience we go at 9 a.m., we have the play slot at this play cafe, and then in the afternoon we have this class, and then in the evening we have this thing that we need to do. So like, what are the schedules that we're setting up for our little ones to make sure they're experiencing enough, and where is the daily life and the real connection and all of us parents and our experiences with our children and their childhood? Where is this all? So that we thought, let's just have an open conversation between Eva and I. What are the things that are going through our head when we think about all the things that we should be, could be, would want to do with our children, and what is the reality of things? So Eva, what's your impression with that topic?
So this has happened recently to me, and it's just a case of I have a calendar kind of agenda, and it's like it's for 2 weeks, and I write down at the very bottom if we're going to have play dates and places to go, things to do. Like if there's I don't know if we should name names, but if there's classes, or if there's a trampoline park, or if there's as you say, a play cafe, or if there's any of those things. And it's kind of like, well, write down what would be nice we haven't done for a while, or we really want to do because of seasonal issues. So I write them down, and it's kind of like, okay, maybe a day trip out or whatever. And that's my thing, is like, okay, this is what we got to do this month. But the thing is, I'm setting this on me. And it's also because when I talk to other parents or social media, and they're like, oh, this is the best day trip ever in the Netherlands. Have you checked out this place? And I'm like, oh yeah, I got to do that. So I write it down on my to-do list, and it's actually becoming overwhelming to me because we're getting prepared and we're getting everything done. And when I'm bringing my child out to do that, I've recently realized she's exhausted, and that's my fault because my daughter goes to daycare 3 days a week. We have her for the other 4 days of the week. And I'm thinking, like, as you know, we do daily activities. So you'll go to the library and you go to the grocery store, you go to the market, or whatever you have to do. But then it's like, oh, but then we have to do this extra thing for an experience. And everyone recommends this and everyone says that. And so I kind of got looped into it. And this isn't just now, this has been for the last few years. So we're talking about even a child 6 months old or a year. And I realized I'm exhausting my daughter.
Yeah, not just your daughter, only so you.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I mean, I'm completely permanently exhausted like every other parent out there. But it was just the fact my husband actually turned to me and he's like, we don't have to do this. We can just stay at home. That's the reason you buy toys, is because they can then play with the toys. And if we're going out constantly, when will she actually play with this? I do a toy rotation every single week. Toys are rotated, books are rotated. So there's always to see what she interacts with most. And I realized lately, she's barely touched anything on the shelves because we haven't been at home much. And so, yeah, it was just that thing that I was thinking, I've built myself up to this. Now, our daughters are a little older, but this really is paramount for even 1-year-old parents and 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds. This is for everyone because we are going to be bombarded with the social medias of this is the best day out ever, or you've got to do this. And things are time limited. For example, like the fruit picking place that's very popular, and you can only go there for certain periods. Some of us have to hire cars to reach there. And then it's a case of when you get on the day, something we've spoken previously about is rushing our children to be like, we're going to make the most of this day. So you got to get ready. We got to get dressed. We got to get this because we got to get there in time. And I mean, how joyful is that to start your day?
Yeah. And I think exactly what you said, the joy in all of this gets totally lost because it's this set requirement. And I think one thing that I have started to do is shift my perspective. It's an option that we go there. And if we feel like it, then we can do it. And I have also, as hard as it was for me, really taken on some more flexibility and what's the English word? Spontaneity. There we go. From my husband, when we're on the weekend and we look outside and we see the weather is nice, and then he's like, hey, should we rent a car and just go to the beach and just do it? And then I have really let go of this, oh no, but we haven't planned it and it's going to be so complicated. It's going to be this and this and this and that. But I trusted him that I said, all right, you get the car and then we'll take it from there. And that has helped us really. What's the feeling for today? And do we want to do it today? And then do this one thing. Or equally, we rented a car and went to this other big zoo that's like a little ways away from Amsterdam. But it was like this one thing where we didn't plan it to do it on the weekend. It just felt like, hey, we have the energy. We really checked in. How is our daughter doing that day? And we saw she's content. She didn't have a big week. We don't have a big thing going on the next day. So also picking that sweet spot for those activities. And that has helped me really not plan too much and not say, okay, this is the weekend where we're going to do it. Because I've had so many times where I did that and it ended up in this pressing it and pushing it and no one was happy. At the end of the day, we did it, but it was like a huge nightmare for everyone. So I thought, what's the point of this? And one person, she's been with us already on a couple of episodes and we will bring her back. One person that I have learned so much from is Harriet. You follow her, please. I think it's Nourish and Nests, or
yes.
We'll put it in the show notes because this is truly one account that you can follow for slow parenting. She puts it out there and she posts when she's in bed all day with her little one. She posts, we're in bed all day. We're snuggling up. I have shitload to do. I wanted to do all this stuff, but you know what? I felt pooped. He felt pooped. He probably did poop. And we're just spending that day in bed. It's so wholesome to see someone putting this out there, the slow things, the not, in air quotation, not doing anything, but she's connecting with her child. She's listening to her needs, listening to her child's needs, instead of this whole, we did this class, we did this, and then we did this, and we saw this person, and this whole other side of social media where you see, and then you get sucked in, and then you feel bad about yourself because you don't have the energy, you don't have the money, you don't have the capacity, you don't have all the things to do that. And then you feel like you're not parenting right, or you're not giving the childhood that your child deserves, or whatever thoughts are coming into
keeping
your
up
head.
With the Joneses.
Exactly. It's so hard. It's like this blessing and curse of you get all these ideas on social media. And you get all these ideas on social media. Yeah. And then you get all this pressure. So this has helped me so much, following accounts like Harriet's, where she posts the reality of things. If I was in bed all day and it was an amazing day and I had fun, we had a good time. And tomorrow, maybe we'll go for a walk. Yeah. So really putting this whole, also maybe coming from cultures and having in-laws or family who are asking, every time when my daughter picks up a ball, the immediate question from a family is, oh, when are we going to send her to soccer class? When are we going to send her to basketball? Like, when is this going to be put into something useful, this practice that she can catch a ball now? Instead of, oh, great, she's catching a ball on the playground. So like this constant cultural thing of everything needs to be productive, everything needs to have a goal, everything needs to fulfill a certain requirement, instead of, no, we're just rolling a ball on the ground for 30 minutes on the playground, and then we have a massive ice cream, and then we'll cycle home.
Yeah, I do agree with you with the cultural pressure on kids, because different cultures will have different elements. Some of them might be educational, some of them might be sports, some of them might be artistic. So yeah, I do agree with you on that. I think like if we take a step back as international people living in the Netherlands, so we interact with all the international families, but we all have our own different lives happening and we all have different variables going on in our lives. So yes, one person might be like, oh, I go here all the time. But that's because it might be right beside her, or because it's the easiest thing for her to do. Equally, it could be where she can work while her child plays. I don't know. But there's a load of different things. And I kind of was thinking, I've never been there. Why have I never been there? Oh, I live on the other side of the city. And it's been raining for 6 months. So I haven't wanted to jump on my bike to bring my child over there. There's all these kind of factors. But the thing was, I did feel the pressure. I still write it down on my list of, I want to do this with my daughter. I want her to experience this. I want to get the photo. I want to get all this. But that's me. Yeah, and I'm putting what am I putting on me? I'm putting this pressure on myself because maybe it's a case of like, I'm trying to give my daughter the childhood I wish I had maybe, or like all the experiences I wish I had. Now, in fairness, half of them have never existed like 20, 30, 40 years ago. So, I mean, it's not even comparable, but it's that thing that you're thinking, I'm trying to be a good parent, and then you're exhausting yourself and you're putting so much, it's actually exhausting us. And this was the thing I was saying to you earlier was it took my husband to turn around and be like, we can't do everything. So for example, I'm like, I want to go to the beach. I want to go to this outdoor playground. I want to go to the zoo. I want to go to the castle. I want to go to the playground, whatever it is. I put up all these lists and I kind of go, I'm penciling in going, we're going to Rotterdam, next week. We're going to go to here. And I keep putting these lists up because I'm like, oh, this is an experience for her. But at the end of the day, it's a case of, well, it's not going to be much of experience because I'm planning this in. We don't know how our child's going to be. God knows every child gets sick for 3 years out of the first 4 years of their life. So there's all this kind of thing that I think it's kind of making me become a lot more mindful. It's taken a long time. I'm not going to lie. So I really hope anyone listening to this with a 3, a 2, a 1-year-old, even a 6-month-old is actually going to benefit from this, that they can be more mindful to know that you invested in toys. You got the nice play mat, you got the toys, you're at home, you don't have to have the TV on. You can just put music on in the background. But it's the fact that, being at home is also an experience. And I think,
being in your environment, you will parent best and you will be connected best. And also allowing your child, and I mean, there's numerous studies about this, how boredom and being bored, being entertained, how beneficial it is for children and also for us adults, where we need this time to let our mind wander, get new ideas. But if we're constantly bombarded with input, then we don't even have this time to be with ourselves and connect, and maybe even connect with the feelings that we're having right now if we're constantly distracted. And we've said this in another episode where we as adults now, we have our phones as our pacifiers and we can't just sit and be bored and just let our mind wander and like connect with our feelings and connect with us. And I guess this is a skill that we can really foster in our children. Let them sit there. And when my daughter said bored, I'm like, great. Isn't that great? Isn't it great that your brain has all this space now, and now you can choose whatever you want to do? And then she's like, okay. So I give her then maybe a couple prompts like, do you think you would get less bored if we read a book, or should we see what's in your toy? Like give them like 2 options and then they can take it from there. But this time where they can connect with themselves. And this is also the gems where then you see what they pick up by themselves. And then you see, oh, I didn't know my child could do this, or I didn't know my child was interested in that, or I didn't recognize that they're practicing this and that skill. And these are the moments where we see them when we take a step back and just let them be and let them discover and let them be in their own world, make up their own things. And that's already enough. And when they want, also they're coming to an age now where they can voice like, oh, I want to go there. I want to go to the playground, or I want to, I don't know, can we go to the beach? And then I take the prompts more from her than prompting it on her.
So one thing that this reminds me of is the Harvard grant study, which is a longitudinal. So it's been running actually since 1938. And they were looking at children who are participating in chores in the home. So the thing is, they identified 2 key things that enable adults to be happy and successful. And the first one was love. So obviously that's the love from our parents and that we can have them in a safe environment. But the second thing was the work ethic. Now, I'm sure a lot of people might have seen on the socials that there's these pictures of kids cooking, like making pancakes or whatever. And I'm like, how the hell are you doing this? Or they're doing the dishes or they're brushing and sweeping up. And you're thinking like, I can't get my kid to do that. these are the families who do stay at home, that they're not pressured to go out and do everything, but they take every single day. It's part of their routine that they're involved in doing it. And then there was another research about the Australian Occupational Therapy Journal, which actually backs up the research. And they found that the children who were required to do chores, you know, at a young age of like 2, 3, 4, like even just carrying like a spoon to the kitchen from the table, they were more likely to exhibit better academic performances and problem solving skills. So obviously, as a parent, this makes us, I think hopefully it'll settle us more. I mean, I am quite home based for the first few years because of the pandemic, obviously. But I think that's what made me feel like I had to catch up because I missed out on those first few years. I didn't get to go to those music classes. I didn't get to go to the art classes. I didn't get to go to whatever it was. And I think that kind of propelled me into this FOMO thing of my child needs to catch up on these experiences I never got to do with her.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those things that it sits with me. And as I said, my husband has been generously reminding me to be more mindful in the fact that we don't have to go out. I think yesterday the plan was to go to the beach. And yesterday instead, God, my brain fog is really hitting in here. But yesterday instead, I think we made a special strawberry drink that she read in a book. She cracked out the magnetars for the first time in a month. We were knocking through some books. She washed up dishes. Oh, we baked banana muffins because the bananas were going off. But like, it was so simple. And the whole thing about this was my child is very tired a lot. And it's because I keep pressuring her to do stuff. And even after that, chill, relax, not doing much day, she was still very tired and easily asleep before the usual time. And it was like, oh yeah, this is the thing that's in my head of we need to not overestimate what they're capable of doing because we think children are on and they can run around the house and they're going to jump on that playground and they're going to have so much energy and like, oh, my kid has just so much energy. And at the end of the day, it's like, well, no, they might just be pushing through.
Because they're also still learning life. So when you just said what you all did, I'm just listening and recognizing that. So she practiced patience when you did this strawberry thing, because I'm sure you needed to wash those strawberries. You needed to watch a lot, I guess, until it's done. So this is a skill that she's practicing. It takes so much energy from them. Or when you just said you're baking. For us, we just scoop the flour into the bowl, but for them, it's this big thing of grabbing the spoon, the motor skills. So everything.
Holding the spoon,
Yeah. It's like this whole big thing. Like for us, it's like, okay, we'll whip up quickly this batch, whatever, 5 minutes in the oven, done. But for them, it's this big thing because they're still learning all this stuff. So this is really, they are exhausted by life. Too.
Us too, yeah.
But this whole thing of they need to still practice all of that. They need to still learn all of that, and they need to be aware, and they need to then deal with their frustrations when they spill or it doesn't taste right or it's taking too long, or like folding a shirt takes us like 5 seconds, 3 seconds, but it's a minute activity for my daughter. How do we fold a shirt and how do we put it away? And let alone the whole process of we're going down to the basement and we're putting it out of the laundry thing. It's like this, it's a half an hour activity for folding one shirt. And this is exhausting for me as well, but for her. So really noticing this, that all the daily life that we as adults do, and we've practiced for, how old are we? Yeah, like 30 plus years. Yeah, or older than 4, let's put it that way. And we have learned all of that, and they are still in the process, and we should not forget how exhausting this is. So let alone that when we take them, take them to a place where it's like crazy town, literally. And it's like so much for them, and life is already so much.
Yeah. And I think this is like, hopefully anyone listening will find this as a bit of a reminder, maybe just a note to be like, okay, those plans I had, maybe we don't have to do it. Maybe we can. I mean, in the winter times, in the autumn, in the spring, it's raining like 9 months of the year, people say here. I think it's a good reminder to be like, you know what? Today can just be a slow day. I have mentioned this book previously a while ago. It was called Noodle. There's a dog called Noodle, and The book's called No Bones Day, and it's basically about this dog a dog loves to go out. It's, everyone knows dogs love to go out and love to roam or whatever. And it's about this dog who one day just doesn't want to. And it's like they had no bones because they couldn't even get out of their bed or whatever. And it's called No Bones Day. And this became this thing. So I've been reading to my daughter now for a year. And it's that thing that I'm like, I tried to kind of put it to her like, hey, let's have a No Bones Day now. That I'm kind of like, hey, we don't got to do anything. Let's keep this real simple. We got a pile of books here. We got food. We got, if it's raining, why don't we just snuggle up? Why don't we make a tent? Why don't we just get under the, just get a crack a light out and just enjoy kind of sitting around
just
having hot chocolate.
Yeah.
But it's also a case of hopefully that will also help me. And especially when we're looking into the autumn, winter, spring season, it is also a case of when we're overdoing it so much, it's also reducing our immunity, I think. Our immune system. Therefore, having these rest days might give us a bit of respite that will actually help benefit us and hopefully make sure that we're not too sick or we're not going to get sick or we're not going to push those boundaries that we need to be careful of.
Exactly. So this was your weekly reminder of taking it slow. Don't pressure yourself. Don't buy into the FOMO. You are already doing so much. Your child is already doing so much. Exist, be, breathe, and just take it slow. And if you need some support from that or reminders, we have a ton of episodes where we talk about this with Dr. Naomi, how to center yourself, how to be, how to breathe. And if you want to hear more from our other experts, every Monday, we are chatting it away like today, DamChats, Eva and I. And every Wednesday, we're coming out with an expert episode on this podcast. If you want to support us, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this episode. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And we are also on Instagram, Damn Parenting Podcast. You can drop us a line there, slide into our DMs, or drop us an email, damnparentingpodcast@gmail.com if you want to get in touch with us. But most importantly, share this episode with anyone who needs to hear this piece of information. Bring us into the conversation, into your WhatsApp groups, your Facebook groups, your coffee chats with your friends, wherever you talk to another parent, ask them about the Damn Parenting Podcast if they have already subscribed and listened to our numerous episodes from all different angles, all different topics. If you want to come on with a topic and chat with us, also please feel free to get in touch. We also love to hear from our community, whatever stories this might be that you need to share or whatever piece of information you think other parents could benefit from. We have an open ear for you and you are not alone in this. We're with you. The whole community is there to support you in this parenting journey. It's not easy. So just exist. You're doing a great job and we'll hear you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.